Welcome to the Homemade Broadcast 434 live stream. Welcome, Robert Cochran. What's up with you, man? Welcome, Anna Hummel.
Whoa, thank you for having me.
Wow, were you doing some sort of beauty routine? You were rubbing rocks on your face? Is that a thing?
It is a thing. It's called Young Cow.
No, it's not.
It's I honestly it's like Guang Kong. It's like China. It's like made in China, but it's like should be made in China. Do you know what I mean?
No, please elaborate. Say something very promiscuous and that could possibly get you canceled online. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. No, I've seen these things before. It's rocks that you put in the freezer, and then it's supposed to undo the swelling, right?
You know, people use it for like beauty, tightening the skin. I just think it feels really good because it like relieves tension when you press here. It's like a massage for your face.
Oh,
so
man.
I like it. And it was like $8. So I was like, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's perfect. That's
like,
perfect.
Think about like you got a crick in the back of your neck. It just go like that. It feels really good.
Wow. Anna, I had to reset. Thank God I looked at the recording because I had a special feature on that and your audio was not coming through. I think it was still coming through on the live stream, but
God's will.
wasn't coming through on the recording. So welcome again to the Homemade Broadcast 434. If you witnessed Anna Hummel rubbing rocks on her face, then consider yourself privileged. And if you didn't, you can catch the replay anytime you want on YouTube. Oh, there she is doing that. Do you think that works?
Like I said, I have no idea. I haven't researched any of the science. I really don't believe a lot of that Eastern medicine stuff, but it just feels good. Like it literally just feels nice. So why not do that if it feels nice? You know what I mean?
Yeah, true that. Okay. I mean, as long as it does something for you, then who cares if it works or not? Placebo effect is still an effect. So,
well, it feels good. I think it's just supposed to like make your face look more like snatch and like define your chin.
Or like,
I don't think that's
no cursing on here. What is? I'm sorry. What does that mean? Snatch?
I've heard the term thrown around by those in like the beauty field before, and I think it just means like your jawline looks more chiseled.
Okay, we'll go with that. Is that your roommate?
Yes.
Oh, get her on camera. I want to yell at her.
No, not on camera.
Okay.
No, there's only like 4 people.
Sorry.
Way to go, Will.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah. Welcome to this. I guess we got to start eventually. Welcome to the stream. 434. We got some comments. Robert is heading to Santa Cruz, California before he leaves to go to Korea from Tampa. And he loved listening to us back in the day on Stay Woke. Wow. Robert, I hope you're not on the run from the authorities. I hope that you're just going on vacation or something like that. But thank you for joining us before you leave. That's incredible. Please share.
Korea. That seems a little sus.
Is it well? You don't fly to.
Feeling okay. I can see you going from like LA to Korea or maybe San Francisco to Korea. Oh, maybe he's chilling in Santa Cruz before he goes to one of those major airports. But I was like,
he's active duty military. Yes.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Robert, and good luck over there. Please don't. I don't know. I guess Korea is pretty safe. I don't know.
Did you say North or South Korea is pretty safe?
Well, I mean, probably both are pretty safe. You may not have food in the North, but you may lose some weight. But I don't know how rampant crime is in any of those places.
Are you familiar with that Otto von Buren dude?
Yes. Well, don't steal
Otto von Botulism dude.
Don't steal any sort of tapestries in Kim Jong-un's
I don't think they're gonna let you in the country anyways. Aren't they in like heavy duty lockdown because allegedly 6 people died from COVID?
Yeah, and they're activating the military, I believe. Now they said they didn't even have it when at first they were the only country in the world without COVID. Went down.
If it would be any country, I would think it would be North Korea.
Oh yeah. Did you see that monkeypox is back?
What is that?
Arrived. Monkeypox, a new pandemic just dropped. I just saw a story on online that monkeypox has made its way to the United States after being in Europe and now Canada, and now it's in the United States. So perhaps
no. I hear all sorts of stuff about swine flus and avian flus, so I just kind of ignore it at this point, I think.
Yeah. Well, that's good. David Council says there are worse things she could rub on her face. Like what? David, please
Give
elaborate.
us an example.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wrong answer.
Scott wants to hear about my girlfriend. Well, my girlfriend and I met on an application called Hinge, and I don't know what else you want to know, Scott. That's boring. This week, though, I wanted to talk to Anna about something that happened on the internet. Now, the internet is a big source of information. It's a big source of misinformation. There's commentators. There's dissidents. I mean, it runs the gamut as far as opinions that you'll hear. And I think an unpopular opinion can get you in a bad spot. It can get you harassed online, but the way to go, beat that is to sign offline. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, turn off the computer.
Turn off the computer, walk away. Tyler, the Creator, had a great tweet back in the day. Something along the lines of paraphrasing him here is, how is cyber stalking a real thing?
Or
cyberbullying.
Bullying,
yeah. All you gotta do is turn the computer off, and he was totally right about that. Do you follow anything with the swimsuit models, these Sports Illustrated swimsuit? You ever look at it? You know what it is?
Only when it makes the news for an offbeat reason, like someone's 1,000 pounds, or they have a 95-year-old gracing the cover, or someone with like either one too many limbs or not enough. Usually that's when I start paying attention.
Yeah. Well, good, because then you must have been paying attention this week, because I don't know if you know who Dr. Jordan Peterson is, but he's kind of one of these dudes who's very popular online, but also very popular online for negative reasons as well. He called out and kind of shamed Sports Illustrated issue cover Yumi Nu or No in a controversial tweet on Monday.
And she's a fat Asian, so she's really covering a lot of bases.
Yeah. I mean,
in terms of body diversity and racial diversity, I think she feels like she's representing everybody, but she needs like a cognitive disorder or like a learning disability. I wish she was like bad at math or like had dyslexia or something, in addition to the other two.
Yeah. Well, you're right. She does cover a lot of bases, and I don't really know what happened to. Well, I know what happened to Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition is that it just followed the culture of what's going on now, and now it's got a very diverse cast of characters. It kind of was, and I remember it being diverse. I remember I had a special Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition that I kept under my bed for a long period of time when I was a boy. My bubby got me a subscription to Sports Illustrated because I like sports. Yeah, and once a year, you would get the Sports Illustrated edition. There was very pretty ladies in there, so I decided to hide that one under my bed for no particular reason, but I did. And very good looking ladies in there. Now, it's changed. Well, I wouldn't say it's changed. Okay, I'm not trying to say that this lady Yumi Nu is not attractive, because I think she's very attractive.
I was about to ask you. That was my first question to you, actually.
That's my type of gal, this lady here. But Jordan Peterson has a differing opinion about this. He says that the University of Toronto professor announced that he was going to be leaving social media, where he has nearly 3 million followers, just
Twitter
hours
specifically.
Twitter. Yes, Twitter explicitly. Yeah. While his account is still active, the 59-year-old wrote that he will be departing the Twitterverse following the backlash that he got for hating on news magazine photo shoot. He said that the endless flood of vicious insults is really not something that can be experienced anywhere else than on Twitter. He tweeted that on Monday night. He says, "I like to follow people I know, but I think the incentive structure of the platform makes it intrinsically and dangerously insane." While his account is still active, Peterson said he has instructed his staff to keep him off of social media. This is to the point now where he has to tell his staff he has such an addiction that he can't, he's got to be watched, and have his staff make sure he doesn't get on Twitter.
Is he like a child? What's going on?
I don't know.
A lot of respect for Jordan Peterson. To be honest with you, I've been watching a lot of his videos lately just because I've been watching short YouTube clips and they kind of automate for me, and I usually watch like, anywhere between a clip that's 2 minutes and 10 minutes. But and he has a lot of good advice, but it seems like he's not really good at taking his own advice. And if you're gonna start throwing insults or, say something controversial on social media, you kind of have to expect you're gonna get a lot of hate back. So the fact that he didn't think that that was gonna happen, or was like surprised that he was getting probably death threats and a bunch of other stuff, is beyond me. He should know better. So I don't know.
It's yeah, I think you're right there. He should know better. It's not really worth having an opinion on Twitter. I just wait. What I've been doing now is like nobody wants to hear anything that I have to say really on Twitter, and then it could be twisted for somebody's own game if it's something they really not that I'm particularly a target or anything with that, but I mean, who wants to read a take on something like that? Like, you don't dig this chunky girl on the cover of Sports Illustrated? Like, why do you feel the need to put that out to the world to millions of people? You know what I mean?
To get a response, and then like you're suddenly surprised that a lot of people are upset by that. And he even said like sorry, like insinuating that he knows that this is a controversial take, and then all of a sudden is like blindsided by the fact that he's getting all these insults back. Like, for a very smart man, that was a really dumb move. Like, you should just, I hate to say be a man about it, but just like turn off the computer, or just say I stand by what I say, double down, triple down, quad down, like just stay
It's
by your
not.
stick to your guns, and the storm will pass. We all know this. So.
Yeah, and that's what and in his defense, that's what he's doing. He's going, okay, well,
No, he's
this is
not.
not for me. Yeah, well, he's instructing his staff to keep him off Twitter. He's signing off, logging off.
Uh, yeah, but I just feel like the fact that he said something insulting, expecting the world to hear it and say it, and then can't take all of the hate back. I mean, yeah, it's his prerogative. He can log off if he wants to. It just seems to be a bit bizarre that he's like offended or surprised by the fact that he got a lot of hate. Like, what did you think was going to happen? I don't know.
So let's get down to the bare bones of what he said, and I don't know why he felt the need to tweet this out. I guess he considers himself a cultural warrior and a leader in that
He's
space.
also very mentally unwell too.
Oh
Like,
yeah, for
um,
sure.
diagnosed with, I think, severe depression. I know he suffers from an autoimmune disease like his daughter does. He's got a problem with alcohol. So I have a feeling that, he's kind of one of these guys that I suspect that gives great advice, can't always take it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, he tweeted this out. He decided that the that news cover was so jarring to him that he needed to make this comment. He said, "Sorry, not beautiful, and no amount of authoritarian tolerance is going to change that."
He's also a contrarian. Like, we know this, you know.
I'm trying to see, I see his point in this whole thing. I just don't feel the need why he felt the need to say it. There is a big push to normalize being fat and not having to
Not
take any.
even that fat. Like,
I mean, she's chunky. She's pretty
she
big.
is. She is, but she's not. I mean, I guess I'm just used to the Tess Holidays of the world. So when I
Yeah.
see her like that, I'm like, she could stand to lose 40, 50 maybe, but she's not. Which is obese.
Well,
But
mm,
to me, I've seen the extreme. So I'm like, that's really what the hill he wanted to die on. A girl that's, kind of overweight. Like, really go for the gold. Like, go for a Tess Holiday. Go for a girl that's like 1,000 pounds. Don't go for a chick who could stand to lose 40. Like, I don't know. That's just me.
well, this was probably the biggest they got, I think. I haven't seen the issue, but this was one of the cover models, and I think Kim Kardashian was on it. Then they had some old broad on there, and
Old Broad was Elon Musk's mother.
really, oh,
Yeah.
wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Um, so
He
I
was a
don't know.
model, by the way. And I guess still is.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not, and so is this lady. It's models of different sizes and different ages. Like, I get what they're doing,
Hmm.
but it's kind of antithetical to what it was, when it started, which was some not particularly realistic view of what women are. I know they have a men's version now
Yeah.
too. It's
I mean,
not. Go ahead.
it's not. What do you mean realistic? Like, there are women that, sure, it's like airbrush and stuff. But for the most part, I mean, there are women that are that beautiful. It may not be the
Right.
typical
But they're
woman.
freaks.
Yeah,
Typically, their
but it's not.
bodies are very hard to come by.
But
It's
people
not
are saying
something
it's
that
like not reality. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been in the presence of like a beautiful person, but you're like, whoa, like God created, like that is a specimen of a human being. That's reality. This may not be your reality, but people do look like that, and people want to look at people that look like that, and that's
right,
okay, you know.
yeah,
So
exactly, but it's like a bell curve, right? So it's there these are kind of the freaks. These are the ones that are
absolutely outliers, no doubt. But
yes.
you
So
know, I mean, much like we don't want to watch a bunch of JV soccer players, you know, play soccer. We want to watch the best. We want to watch the best football players, and we pay them a lot of money so that we can watch them perform. The same thing goes for models, which is bizarre. The fact that like we're willing to admit that some people are better athletically, like genetically, obviously hard work, but a lot of it is just innate ability, and we're all willing to accept that. That's fine. I mean, again, there's debates and stuff, but when it comes to like beauty, it's like suddenly we have to admit that everybody's beautiful and everybody's a 10. And it's like, well, no, that's not the case either. Like there are people who just innately have better, you know, more symmetrical, aesthetically pleasing genetics, and that's okay. And yeah, it's enhanced with makeup and computers and stuff like that. But there's a reason why most people don't grace the cover and why it's such a big honor is because there's only a few people in the world that really are that beautiful. So
bingo. Exactly. So that's where I kind of see his point in this whole thing. Not that I think he picked his words bad because, saying that someone's not beautiful, it's just antithetical to what the mission of the SI swimsuit edition was kind of the elite of the elite. And to a certain extent, I guess, since it was scantily clad women, it was kind of showing the female form in its peak position, right? But then I think that they would say that the critics of that would say like, well, these are just social constructs, that the only reason that we find these bodies attractive is because it was pounded into our head socially, and it's not really true of what human nature actually is, which I don't think the science really follows that, but I think that that's
that
what they would say.
they would, but it's funny because like even the fat models or the whatever, the models that look a little bit different despite race or, you know, age is kind of different, but in terms of size, like we don't see any women with thin hair. We don't see any women with bad skin. Like we don't see any woman with like tons of wrinkles, and if there are wrinkles, obviously they're airbrushed out or she has a lot of makeup on or a combination of both. So it's like we're willing to admit, okay, well, there's diversity in terms of size and beauty. Fine, that's like the big battle we're fighting right now. But what about like women with acne? Why don't we see women with acne on the cover? Like we all agree that nice skin is good, but what about women with bad skin or like thin hair or something like that? So there's a lot of diversity that we're not covering, which to me is funny because we still all kind of share that same standard of beauty in terms of like a youthful face, nice skin, nice glow, long luscious hair, things like that. So unless like you got alopecia and then you got some other disorder and they want to highlight that, but that's more of just like like a showcasing. I hate to say like a like a circus. Like come to see the freak show. This person has vitiligo. This person has alopecia. This person has one leg or six. That sort of thing. But that's really not the standard of beauty. But whatever. SI is a private company. They can put on display anybody they want. So
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with that either. I just think, to play that devil's advocate here, like, and to Jordan Peterson's point, I mean, he's not wrong in his approach. I think he just chose his words wrong because somebody said on Twitter to him that chunky women on a magazine covers, you sound like a parody of you, when he's talked about that being authoritarian, and he responded back that it's a conscious, progressive attempt to manipulate and retool the notion of beauty, reliant on the idiot philosophy that such preferences are learned and properly charged by those who know better.
the
And that's
worst. Twitter. Like
uh,
that's not a Twitter. The Twitter response is like, "Go after yourself," But what would be so funny and the best troll ever if he's like, "Oh, I'm not talking about the fact that she's overweight. I just don't like Asians." Like that would be
Yeah.
that's the joke. Like that's the joke right there where he's like, no, I love voluptuous women. I just think Asians are ugly. Like that would
Oh
be
man.
that's the
Yeah.
troll.
Yeah, that would be a good troll. I don't think Jordan Peterson is necessarily known for his humor though, unfortunately.
Yeah.
David Council says social media makes us all important, relevant experts. We can't understand why no one cares about our opinions, and too many cry free speech when we face consequences for our words. Okay. I mean, he is an expert. He's very knowledgeable.
Psychologist.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with this point. I think he just chose his words wrong, saying that she's not beautiful.
I think he
And
relapsed and he was drunk. And he just started getting on Twitter and saying some stuff. And he's like, what am I doing? I need to
yeah,
be back in rehab, eating red meat exclusively. Maybe he had like a piece of bread and it like set him off. Who knows? The guy hasn't had a carb in like freaking 6 years. He's hungry. He's hangry.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah. That could be. That could be. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. I just keep going back to Twitter is not a place to have any sort of conversation. It's really a waste of time. Much like putting your thought out there on Facebook or something, you're either going to get a thumbs up or you're going to get um, you know, perhaps a friend that doesn't like you anymore. Those are your options. So, I don't really know what to use Twitter for, what to use social media for. I do use them, but it tends to be for things like promoting this podcast, promoting radio shows. Uh,
Sharing news and videos and things of that nature. It
and-
just I don't know, with the Jordan Peterson thing, it still does kind of baffle me because it was meant to provoke, like it was a provocative thing to say,
and-
and he is a
and-
provocateur in a unconventional way in the fact that he's like also an intellectual, so he's not like who's like a troll that we all I don't know. He's not like a Donald Trump, you know what I mean? He's someone who's thoughtful about it, but I was just kind of I didn't understand why he was saying that if he didn't expect to get a reaction. It seems like he wanted the reaction to be surprise, shock, and being controversial. So
yeah. Yeah, I don't, and I agree with them again that they're trying to retool what beauty is. I think there's plenty of science on that. That there's a reason why we find these bikini-clad models attractive of old, anyways, and why some people like bigger girls. Some people
of
like
course,
people have tastes and preferences, but I think overall, again, it's like a bell curve where there are certain things that evolutionarily we find more attractive in the opposite sex or the same sex if you're
hmm
there or whatever you're attracted to. There's
yeah,
certain things that on the whole are more highly regarded, in a mate.
right, right.
I
I
said,
honestly would be more surprised if they. I would think they would have more diversity if they put someone on there with an ugly face, because even the
well,
fat
right?
models have beautiful faces. Like that's
Yeah.
undeniable. Like
Why
that
not put a burn victim on there?
gorgeous. She's got a beautiful face. Like she's like, yeah, like 40 pounds overweight, but who cares? She still doesn't have an ugly face. She's not gross looking. It's not like you got like Janet Reno up on there, You got someone who has a symmetrically beautiful face. Even if she has an extra chin, you could still tell it's a pretty face.
I think I don't know if it was Sports Illustrated or some other magazine or something. They had a thing with um a person with Down syndrome, a young lady with Down
Was
syndrome.
she on Sports Illustrated? Because that's coming up next.
I can't remember if it was Sports Illustrated or if it was some other thing.
I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah, and
I
she was
think
in
it
kind of like
was.
a
It was a
bikini.
model. I think it
Yeah.
was a bikini.
Victoria's Secret. That's what it was. This was back in February. There was so I guess she was in like lingerie and she had, Down syndrome.
I mean, is there something inherently problematic as long as she can consent and she's of age?
I mean,
You
I don't
know,
know.
I mean,
Victoria,
those are really. Go ahead.
well, especially like even the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition is a little different because it's bikinis, but I feel like Victoria's Secret is underwear and lingerie, and it's
They also
supposed
do
to
bathing suits.
okay, it's supposed to arouse you sexually. Are you
And
even
Sports Illustrated's not.
well? I think it is, but more so. for Victoria's Secret because it's mostly lingerie. Like, can you
Really
even?
see the
Are you
difference.
should you be attracted to somebody with Down syndrome? Is that even
Can
like?
be. You can be. I think that
Is it against the law if you were to
no. I mean, I
do
think
sex
if
stuff?
people are consenting and of age, I think those really are the two ingredients you need for legality in terms of sexuality. I think I would say is consent and an age.
You
But
better consult with an attorney before you go doing anything because I don't know. I
well,
would I would.
what else would the restrictions be? The limitations be?
I mean, are they able
You got
to
to be
consent
18 and you can't rape them.
with,
So
with their
everything
condition?
else is fair game.
Are they able to consent with their condition?
Well, that's the question.
Yes, that is the
I think
question.
it depends on the spectrum of the condition, but I think many of the higher functioning ones can consent. I mean, they can communicate, and just because you have Down syndrome doesn't mean you can't consent.
But a 17-year-old can communicate and
Well, no, no.
theoretically.
Well, I said those two things have to be present: 18 at least,
Mhm.
and the ability to consent. So if she's 19, 20.
Okay, but let's say that they've done tests and they come to the conclusion that she has I don't know what you call it, a mental age of 12. So she's in a 19-year-old body, but she has the capacity of a 12-year-old.
Well, then that would deal with the ability to consent. If she can't consent, I think it's fair game. I think it's fair game. If you're 18, that's the law, and if you're able to consent, you know what's going on. I don't think I don't think you have to have the mind of an adult, right? Because then you can start putting restrictions on stupid people that aren't clinically, mentally disabled, but they got an IQ of 62. There's
Yeah,
even Avery type, and then you start putting restrictions on those people because they have the intelligence of a 5-year-old, but
right.
they're adult. Like, then I don't like giving the state that much power. We have to just put like some hard lines in the sand. Can they consent? Yes or no? Are they 18? Yes or no?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. And also understand that bad things are going to happen. There's no such thing as utopia because people like to do that where they go, well, if you do this, then this might happen. And you go, okay, well,
Oh yeah, with the slippery slope, like with the row stuff, I
oh
hear people
boy.
say, "Oh, you better get ready, gay people, because they're coming after us next." It's like what?
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, it sure is. Well, I know you got to go. You're going to get your butt kicked today in jujitsu. I
Yes,
saw you're
third
wearing.
time this week I'm training. I'm going to train 4 times this week.
Oh my god! I thought you just went once a week.
No, I'm trying to go 3 to 4 now.
Holy cow! Good for
I
you.
want to get good
Exciting.
faster. So
So, can we just conclude with was Jordan Peterson right, and was he wrong in his assessment? Do you think?
I mean, he was right, and in the sense that that's what he thought. You're
Uh huh.
entitled to your opinion. I think he's an idiot for being such a smart guy to think that he wasn't going to get, or he's in any way, shape, or form surprised at the backlash. That is befuddling. But other than that, I mean, sure, you're right. You're allowed to see. I remember Louis C.K. in the show Louis. I think he said to his daughter, the girl who played his daughter, something along the lines of, "You, if someone tells you you hurt their feelings, you can't tell them that they're wrong." You know what I mean? Like, you're
Yeah.
entitled to feel the way you want to feel, and no one can tell you you're wrong for feeling that way. It's like, well, no, you're entitled to feel however you want, you know.
But there's
But
like you can't expect the world to kind of bend to your emotion and how.
no, no, but you can't tell someone that they're wrong for feeling that way. So I mean, I wouldn't tell Jordan Peterson that he's wrong for thinking that something's beautiful or not beautiful. But again, it was more of just the fact that he seemed to be surprised at the wave of backlash. But
Yeah, yeah, it was just a naive thing to but I think, I guess he expected shrapnel and he got it, and, so you sign off for a few days and then you get back on and
yeah, I honestly just think he was drunk.
I
I think
don't
he
think he drinks.
he did. He went to rehab for it. I don't know if
No,
he.
he did? I thought he went to rehab for barbiturates. He got hooked on barbiturates. There's
And also he had a problem with alcohol.
oh,
I think he
interesting.
was using them in combination, but he
Oh,
definitely talked about his drinking extensively. That he was drinking a lot.
How about that? Did not know that.
Mhm.
Very interesting. Okay, Anna, we will let you go. I hope that
Rabbit.
you have you got punched in the face yet? Like you got a black eye?
Well, I'm not doing striking, so
Oh,
you probably
why
wouldn't
not?
see me with a broken elbow, but you probably wouldn't see me with a black eye.
You,
I
so
mean, you
I-
could, you conceivably if it was like an accident, like something slipped and hit me in the eye, but I'm not taking like any sort of Muay Thai or boxing or striking. It's more about bending and choking.
well, good.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, Anna, thanks so much for joining me again.
Yep.
It's always a pleasure to see you. We still got to do your birthday lunch. You got to let me know when you're available.
Okay, that's
And
fair.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm working from home during the day, so let me know when you'd like to go, and
Yay. Oh, well,
we'll
thank
do
you,
that.
Will. I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am. We'll see you
All
next week,
right.
Anna.
All right.
Goodbye.
Bye.
There she goes, Anna Hummel. Wow, what a program! What a good time to see everybody, hang out with you guys and gals and babies. It's a pleasure. Thank you, David Council. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Katrinka. Thank you, Facebook user who is trashing me in the chat. Thank you, Scott. And I'll see you tonight on the Johnny B Show, 10 to midnight on the Bone. And make sure you like the podcast, spread it around, share it with your friends. Thanks to Michael, who messaged me and told me that it wasn't on Google Play recently. That's in the works now. So it'll be on Google Podcast pretty soon. Subscribe to it, give it a 5-star rating. Takes a second, really helps me out. I think that's it. HMBradio.com/store. Get you a t-shirt or a sweater or something. And HMBradio.com/donate if you're enjoying the program and like to do that. Don't have to, but it's there. Goodbye.